Nairobi, strong foundations were built for advocacy in the country, key roles played by the civil society being conveying the society's voice to the state, even as they play the important role of checking the government's excesses. But times have changed, and so have advocacy methods compared to what happened in the past. Critical questions, however, continue to be asked on whether the new way of doing things is effective. Has the civil society been able to guard the integrity of our electoral processes? What lessons can we borrow from the past? I'll be engaging a man who has been both at the trenches as an activist and later holding the highest seat in the judiciary. Former Chief Justice Dr. Willy Mutunga will be taking us through the journey of the civil society through the years. But first, let's set the stage for our discussion tonight, and Ken has the statistics on the wall.
All right, thanks, Eric. And Eric Latif is joining us for the first time, and he's going to be on Kivumbi 2022. Going forward, he'll be sitting with the Chief Justice later, the former Chief Justice, in a little bit. But let's come back to the Super Bowl right here and tell you what matters. Let's break it down for you. For today, the civil society, and we begin with the definition of the civil society. What you understand, our wide array of organizations, community groups, non-governmental organizations, that's NGOs, labor unions, indigenous groups, charitable organizations, faith-based organizations, professional associations, and of course foundations. They all fall under the NGOs. And the advent of the civil society in Kenya, like in many other parts of Africa, they arose in response to the dysfunction of the post-colonial states. That was one of the reasons. Now, since the late 1980s, democracy, governance, and human rights, which form the basis of civil society movements, have influenced the democratization process in the country. Very important. In fact, they have been checking democracy for the longest time. As you will find out tonight, they've even been supporting the opposition in parliament to drive some of the agenda. Now, the advocacy, watchdog, and service providers of public good, fundamental reconstruction of politics, some cases the control of politics shifting from state elites to more popular forces by opening up more political spaces. One of the major roles of the civil society. Now, the role of the civil society in the political transition, this is very important. They have been key part and parcel of the political transition, ensuring democracy in the countries. They work with the opposition in parliament, as I mentioned, supporting some of the agendas that needs to be pushed through parliament. It was vocal in the push for multipartyism through the constitutional review. During the multi-party struggle in the 1990s, civil societies was also vital in providing civic education to the populace. Very important role that the civil society had been undertaking, and they continue to undertake. But as you will learn tonight, somewhere along the way, the civil society lost it. What is the main reason they lost it? We'll have that discussion with the panel. But first, former Chief Justice Willy Mutunga will be speaking about that. Also, still their role, civil societies provide a safe refuge for victims of state terror during the sustained push for multi-party politics in the country. They have something in common, especially the ones that practiced during this time. You'll learn about that tonight. And relenting criticism of the excesses of the government epitomize the civil activism, something that we have grown to understand and learn. We'll be telling you the prominent faces in the next hour. But finally, civil society also took up the active role to expose electoral fraud and malpractices. I think this is the biggest part they play in the country right now. We find out more now by speaking to my colleague Eric Latif, who is on the other side with former Chief Justice Willy Mutunga. Eric.